En u ziet het, de mannen communiceren veel met elkaar, niet alleen maar in woord, maar zeker in gebaar. De tekens achter de rug worden gegeven, zodat ze weten waar het geblokkeerd en verdedigd wordt.
Goed, oké.
Van Pedro.
Boa, Vitor!
Zo! Nee! En doei!
Oh, Pedro! Solberg! De man in het groen met nummer 1. Hij was bij de jeugd 3 maal wereldkampioen. En heeft dus al 15 titels in de World Tour. Zowel blokkerend als verdedigend staat deze mannetje. 6-5.
Kraak in die bal!
Ja, heerlijk Praia. Die stond dus in de WK-finale met een andere partner 2 jaar geleden in Copa. Het hoeft niet altijd hard.
Ver. Sai.
En daar is weer zo'n voorbeeld van een geplaatste bal hoog over de blokkering tegen bijna. Je ziet regelmatig ook hoe hard er geslagen wordt vanuit de serve. Zojuist 88 en daarvoor 90 km/u. Dan is makkelijk als je 2 minuten bent. De zonnebril van zijn tegenstander. En zonder die zonnebril wil is natuurlijk lastig spelen. Niet alleen maar tegen de zon, maar ook zeker op spannende zon. Eén met de punten in de hoge voorwoord. Tijd voor de technical time-out.
Samen met je pistols. Spike, wat ga jij doen? Não, lekker mee dan.
Vou nem por torcer,
Precisa não. Preciso que você saque do lado de lá. Tá? Sacar, meu irmão. Vai pro ace, vai pra concentrar. Vamos abrir o placar.
Beleza, vamos nessa. Vou me divertir mais aqui, tá?
7 minuten de verplichte rust. En het zal hier nog gaan zijn dat Brazilië voorstaat. Maar Brazilië komt eraan. 9-12. De lijn spant omhoog. En natuurlijk dat de bal er bovenop staat. De lijn is onderdeel van het veld. En mocht nou een van de lijnen naar binnen of naar buiten gaan vanwege een actie van de spelers, ja, lijn maken. Oh, een hoge bal daar, heerlijk! In het nou is de aanval van 4 punten wordt aangevraagd door Vitor, Felipe en Álvaro. Dames en heren, u mag even gaan zwaaien naar de mensen aan de overkant. Herkent u mensen die je kent? Zwaaien even naar de overkant.
Ja, que o Pedro tá sacando e tá indo no bloqueio, vamos pedir a bola.
Geen handen misschien. Hallo. Boven je hoofd knappen.
Ei, vamos soltar um foda-se. Principalmente quando eu tinha na rede, mas no Vitor. Tem menos recurso de largada que o Álvaro. Entendeu? Vai me enfrentar mais.
Ecuador!
enige man in de hele week is dat ze 7 punten voor staan nu. Maar was de wedstrijd veel spannender. En er was er bijna gelijk stand geweest, dan was Pedro ook niet zo rustig gebleven. Want de bal was misschien wel al op de grond.
Both of them so capable with those big spikes, and they now have more than enough set points. They have really grown in stature the longer the set's gone on. Well, there's one of those serves into the net. Disappointed with himself, but for Evandro it's been, prior to that one, a huge improvement in that aspect of his game for this quarter-final. Well, that's a way to make amends for it. Another big hammer blow, and a hugely impressive first set for Pedro and Evandro. An emphatic finish from the big man, and an emphatic scoreline for those two. They take the first set of this FIVB Beach Volleyball World Championships quarter-final, 21-14 over Vitor, Felipe and Álvaro, Filho. So Vitor, Felipe and Álvaro Filho really do have it all to do now, losing the first set by quite a large margin in the end. Look at the attack hit efficiency, a huge differential, 59% to 36%. Also 3 more errors for the yellow Brazilians here. Vitor, Felipe and Álvaro Filho really have to get it together now. They have shown that they can come from behind in this tournament before. They've had plenty of their matches go to 3 sets. And they need to perhaps put on the best set display of their World Championships campaign so far. And that's a pretty good start from Álvaro Filho. Somehow controlling this humongous serve from Evandro and then picking himself back up to have the final say. He's a player, Álvaro Filho, named as the FIVB's top rookie and most improved player 2 seasons ago. In the season in which he reached the final of the World Championships with Ricardo Santos losing to the Dutch. They need him to raise his game as much as possible if their run in this World Championships is to continue. Pedro right down, and Álvaro Filho couldn't handle that one. First point on the board in this second set for Pedro and Evandro. Delicate touch from Vitor Felipe, kept up by Evandro, and then Álvaro Filho somehow keeping it alive too. And he can't finish it off, put off by the huge frame of Evandro in front of him. Tried to slice it to get it to drop down the side of the big man, didn't get enough on it. Great defense from Evandro. Superb rally. Oof. Off the fingertips of Pedro, that one from Vitor Felipe. Those two retake the lead. And of course, the first set was close towards the beginning, and then Pedro and Evandro just started to overpower their fellow countrymen. Pedro rejected by Vitor Felipe. Only the 5th World Tour event as a team for Vitor Felipe and Álvaro Filho, all of them this season. Finished 9th in Switzerland, Russia and Croatia. And then a huge disappointment with a 25th place finish in Norway last month. And starting to raise their game in this second set when they really need to. They lead by 3, 5-2. It's a second set that they simply have to win to remain in the competition. Evandro measures that one. And straight into the net. And you can see the determination on the face of Álvaro Filho. Pedro and Evandro not happy at all right now, calling a timeout early on in the second set, down 6-2. They took the first set in confident fashion, 21-14. But Vitor Felipe and Álvaro Filho have shown a tremendous response at the start of the second, and they've forced a few errors out of both Pedro and Evandro, leading 6-2. Pedro very vocal in that timeout. They want to make sure they don't have this one taken to a decider. They want to make sure their place in the final 4 is set. Is this the final set here in Rotterdam of these World Championships, or will Vitor Felipe and Álvaro Filho force a decider? Off the back of the timeout, it is Pedro and Evandro who get the first point. Took a touch off the elbow of Vitor Felipe. That's just in from Evandro. It caught the top of the net as well. Very, very close, this one. Lucky perhaps it didn't take more of a touch off the top of the net. Might have carried the ball up and away and out of bounds. Back-to-back points for Pedro and Evandro off the timeout, and they're back within 2. Huge effort from Vitor Felipe to get that one. Pedro off the net. Álvaro Filho now set for Vitor Felipe. Down the line, and what an effort that is. He kept the rally alive about as far to the near side of this court as you can possibly get. And then he finished it off on the far side of the court. Tremendous effort from Vitor Felipe. There he is again, somehow. Although the point will go to Pedro and Evandro, but they are putting in a humongous effort on defence. Álvaro Filho somehow able to get that one up, and Vitor Felipe very nearly got it. Now back-to-back points for Pedro and Evandro. Coming back off the replay, and they get within one. Well, miscommunication from Vitor Felipe and Álvaro Filho. Both of them left it. That is so delicately placed from Álvaro Filho. There were times earlier today and yesterday looked on a one-man mission to make sure he got back to the podium. After the disappointment of losing the final 2 years ago, he's got it all to do if he wants to reach the podium this year. Eventually, Evandro getting the big-time rejection. He just kept putting up a wall. The combination of the two of them couldn't find a way past. Vitor Felipe able just to get enough on it to carry it over the top of Pedro, and his touch made sure that Evandro wasn't going to be able to reach it in the backcourt. And a 2-point lead for the Brazilians in yellow again. So much power from Pedro. Álvaro Filho started getting closer to all of those, though, getting right behind them. Just too much power this time for him to direct it back towards his teammate. 9-8, the lead for Vitor Felipe and Álvaro Filho. Beautifully done, over the top of the blocker, down the line to the back of the court. Álvaro Filho gives his team a 2-point lead yet again. So little between these two teams. The seedings, an illustration of that. Vitor Felipe and Álvaro Filho 11th seeds. Pedro and Evandro 12th seeds in this competition. Pedro, beautifully angled in front of Álvaro Filho. He makes it a 1-point second set again. The serve is long from Evandro, so a couple of those errors on service creeping into his game now. Final point now before the technical timeout in the second set. And that one is measured to perfection again from Álvaro Filho. The team who need to win the second set are the team who have the momentum going into the technical timeout. A 3-point lead for Vitor, Felipe and Álvaro Filho. 12-9 in the second set of this FIVB Beach Volleyball World Championships quarter-final, having lost the first 21-14. This is a set that they simply have to win to remain in with a chance of reaching the Final Four. Let's see what happens off the back of this technical timeout, if it will turn the tide back in Pedro and Evandro's favour. We have seen runs quite emphatically at times come to an end off the back of timeouts, and I'm sure Vitor, Felipe and Álvaro Filho wouldn't have wanted this technical timeout at this stage, having built up so much momentum. They're hoping to force what would be a deciding set, first to 15 in this quarter-final. Are we going to have the biggest possible finish in the final match here in Rotterdam before the tournament moves to The Hague for the semi-finals and the final? 21,000 guaranteed for the losing team here in this quarter-final, reaching the Final Four worth at least $30,000. Pedro long off the timeout, so the run continues for Vitor, Felipe and Álvaro Filho. They lead this second set by 4. And the carry called on Evandro as he sets the ball for Pedro. The lead for Vitor, Felipe and Álvaro Filho stretched to 5, and now the confidence starts to build as they move closer and closer to forcing that third and decisive set. Evandro emphatically ending the run. Right back and beyond Álvaro Filho, who's just taken a step to his right, a little off balance. And one of 4 straight points for them comes to an end. The joust won by Vitor Felipe over Pedro. He was just the stronger going up. 2 hands beating 1. And the rejection from Vitor Felipe too. Six-point lead for the Brazilians in yellow. And after a big 7-point differential in the first set, they have improved dramatically in the second. Pedro able to earn the touch off of Vitor Felipe. Out of bounds and the gap closed to 5.
Het is 11-16. We gaan richting de eindfase van de tweede set.
Evandro's serve catching the top of the net again. And that one's short by Vitor Felipe. So back-to-back points for Pedro and Evandro. And a 4-point lead now, but momentum is with the team in green. Can they continue that with the change of ends here? Well, there's the emphatic answer delivered by Vitor Felipe. Perfect set from Álvaro Filho. perfect finish from Vitor Felipe. Evandro denied by Vitor Felipe, who's coming up big towards the end of this second set. The biggest man on court rejected. You can see the confidence brewing in Vitor Felipe and Álvaro Filho right now. Somehow kept alive by Álvaro Filho, and he finishes it off too. That is superb play. Great teamwork and great team spirit, both of them finishing the rally, pointing at each other to acknowledge the contribution of their teammates. But that dig from Álvaro Filho was absolutely sensational. 2 points away from forcing a deciding set. Pedro rejected by Vitor Felipe, but it lands out of bounds. He looked capable of overpowering his opponent again, just didn't get the slice of good fortune he needed. That's out from Evandro. The space was there to be exploited towards the near side of the court. Vitor Felipe and Álvaro Filho had ended up over the far side after scrambling to retrieve it. Evandro couldn't take advantage, and now 7 set points for the team in yellow. The serve landing long from Vitor Felipe, so this is the tally that Vitor Felipe and Álvaro Filho managed in the first set. 14 points that Pedro and Evandro have now. And that's long from Evandro. It will be the same scoreline. We are going to a decider. First to 15 points for a place in the Final Four at the World Championships. What a turnaround from Vitor Felipe and from Álvaro Filho. Pedro and Evandro taking the first set 21-14, looking dominant, but Vitor Felipe and Álvaro Filho answering back with a 21-14 set of their own. So tied up at 1 set apiece, and look at the improvement in the attack hit efficiency, but actually the deficit in the attack hit efficiency from Pedro and Evandro extremely high in the first set, 23% in the second, and 4 more errors as well. Can they get it back together for the decider? You can see what it means to both Brazilian teams. Brazil versus Brazil. First to 15 points, 1 set with a place in the Final Four at the FIVB Beach Volleyball World Championships at stake. The team in green dominant in the first, the team in yellow dominant in the second. What will the deciding set bring? And it's Álvaro Filho who has the first point of the decider. Such a marked improvement from those two in that second set, looking like they're going to be able to continue it into the third. Pedro answers back with power. Vitor Felipe has his say. So 2-1, the lead to the team in yellow. The only player left to score in this deciding set is Evandro. Pedro is going to try again. Álvaro Filho well saved. And Evandro short. So he can't add his name to the list of deciding set scorers. A mistake in the net by Evandro. And those two have a 2-point advantage. Both started full-time on the tour in 2013. Both have a couple of gold medals in their trophy cabinet. Vitor winning in Berlin and Charmen in 2013. Álvaro winning in Gstaad in 2013 and Poland last season. Are they going to put themselves in a position for a medal at the World Championships? Not if Evandro has anything to say about it. That's the way to answer back for that mistake from him. An emphatic spike to get them back within one and take us to the first change of ends, which come every 5 points now in this deciding set, 1st to 15. Rejection from Pedro. Back-to-back points for Pedro and Evandro, and we're level at 3 in the decider. Evandro short at the net again. And look at Pedro, not happy at all. 2 of the 4 points for Vitor Felipe and Álvaro Filho in this decider have been errors on the spike by Evandro. Pedro shows him how it's done. We're level at 4-4 in the decider. The first and second set that had huge differentials. Is the third one going to be the one that goes all the way? It's Vitor Felipe who nudges his team back ahead. It's gone the other way. The lead instead goes to Pedro and Evandro. Penalised at the net, Vitor Felipe. Down the line from Vitor Felipe. They're not going to take that one away from him. Or maybe they are. Well, Vitor Felipe not happy at all. Back-to-back points that he felt he should have won. They're not happy at all right now. So 6-4 the lead for Pedro and Evandro. And they've got to fight back again. They showed that fighting spirit to come back from a 21-14 defeat in the first set. Now they have to show it to come from behind in the second. 3 straight points for Pedro and Evandro. Although Vitor Felipe feeling he should have had the last 2 for his team. And Pedro not happy with a couple of attack hits from Evandro in this third set. Tensions really at a high. Maybe not in the stands, but certainly down on the court. They're just enjoying the entertainment here. The Dutch teams both knocked out of the competition in the round of 32 yesterday. Instead of biting their nails, they can just enjoy these two Brazilians going blow for blow. It has been a tremendous venue here at the World Championships, with the SS Rotterdam retired cruise ship in the background. Rejection from Pedro, and forced away from Álvaro Filho. The momentum is building for the team in green, and you can tell that it's coursing through Evandro's veins right now. The run of 4 straight points comes to an end. Could be a hugely pivotal point, that one. That momentum shut down emphatically by Álvaro Filho. And he finds a way to get that one in too. Looked off balance after the defensive work. Able to get there, pick himself back up, quickly readjust, rise and deliver a hammer blow. There's one right back at you from Pedro. Two Brazilian big heavyweights going blow for blow, toe to toe, point for point, with a place in these semi-finals on the line. Evandro comes out on top in that rally. The lead is 3 again. Some great work by Álvaro Filho, anticipating that the ball from Vitor Felipe was going to hit the net at one stage in that rally. Able to sort it back out when it might have been really difficult to deal with. But Evandro had the final say. Vitor Felipe catches the top of the net, and that deflects it out of bounds, and perhaps they can see this deciding set, see this quarter-final start slipping away now. Vitor Felipe and Álvaro Filho. Look at the run. 7 of the last 9 points for Pedro and Evandro, who are closing in on a place in the final 4. Vitor Felipe with a hugely important point for his team. Every shot is so important right now. Every touch potentially so significant. Pedro able to find a way past Vitor Felipe at the net. Too difficult for Álvaro Filho to control, and maybe he can see his chance at reaching the top of the podium slipping away now after losing that final in Poland 2 years ago. He may have to settle for a 5th place finish here in Holland. Oh, back over somehow off Vitor Felipe. who keeps it up again from Evandro. How did he control that one? Evandro's going to try again and got the fingertips of Vitor Felipe, and they are ever so close now. 5-point lead for Pedro and Evandro. Even after a good slice of fortune for Vitor Felipe there, they kept on going, and Evandro just kept on coming.
Move it.
And here he goes again. Off the fingertips this time of Álvaro Filho. And the heads hang from the team in yellow. They know now that it would have to be the comeback of all comebacks in this deciding set to make it through to the final four. Vitor Felipe and Álvaro Filho need somebody from the SS Rotterdam to throw them a lifeline. Well, maybe that's it. The serve short from Pedro. Their chances, though, of a place in the final four are sinking in the port of Rotterdam right now. Just out off the top of the net from Álvaro Filho. That could be a pivotal call. 6 match points for Pedro and Evandro. And Evandro does it with a big-time serve to save it. 15-8 in the decider over their fellow countrymen. After losing the second set by 7 points, they turned it back around again. Tough to take for Vitor Felipe and for Álvaro Filho. But Pedro and Evandro have been getting better and better in this competition the longer it's gone on. And that's what you want to do in the knockout stage. Keep improving, keep raising your game. And now they're confident perhaps of a place on the podium. They're heading to The Hague for the final four. It's a happy end to the week in Rotterdam for those two.
Voordat ik ga afsluiten wil ik eerst nog de officials bedanken. Referees, thank you for this last game.
This is how they finished it. Evandro's huge serve, too difficult for Álvaro Filho to deal with. And it's the Brazilian team in green who make it through to the final four. Joy on the faces of Pedro and Evandro. For the second time today, they take it in 3 sets. What a slow start to the tournament for the second-ranked team on the FIVB World Tour, Pedro and Evandro, but they have turned it around in the knockout stages. They get through this quarter-final against their fellow countrymen Vitor Felipe and Álvaro Filho in a time of 53 minutes, and we can hear from the winning team now.
Congratulations, guys. Did you ever think you would reach the semis 2 days ago?
2 days ago, you mean? Oh yeah, of course. We never give up. We made a pool play really bad, but once we qualified, we know that the tournament starts at the playoffs. I said this yesterday. We had a tough game yesterday also, and that's the biggest truth. It's always like this. We have been doing really well in the playoffs. We are not every tournament making the best in the pool play, but in the playoffs we are playing really good this season.
Obviously, you know these guys well. What made the difference in this match?
Well, I don't know. They know also us very well. but I think Evandro served really, really hard in the first set, and it was very hard for them to hand set. That's one of the best skills from them. And I think his serve in the first set was amazing, and in the third set also puts a lot of pressure. And my side out was good today. He helped me so much with a very good setting, and that's how we play: serve hard and side out, and it worked.
So now you're moving to The Hague. How about that, leaving Rotterdam?
Wow, so good. I love The Hague. I've been there so many times. Many times sometimes I had good results, sometimes not, and now it's our time. We are having a very good season. It's our third semi-final in 5 events, and that's it. We are here to win. We are not here to anything else. That's it. We go to The Hague to play with our heart, to give our best.
Thanks, guys, and good luck.
Well, they really have turned their tournament around. Just 1 win from 3 in the pool here in Rotterdam, but 3 straight wins in the knockout stage, and they get through to the semi-finals with that big win over Álvaro, Filho and Vitor Felipe. So in the Battle of Brazil, it's heartache in Holland for Vitor Felipe and Álvaro Filho. As we say goodbye to the port of Rotterdam, it's full steam ahead to the final 4 for Pedro and Evandro.
Thank you, Spikey.